What's up, party people? Happy Tuesday, May the 4th be with you. If you're catching us on the replay, probably gonna do a little formalities here, like the first 4 or 5 minutes. But if you want to skip ahead to the meat and potatoes, feel free to do that. Otherwise, I'm gonna let some people hop on today, and then we'll get rolling. But today we are going to get into the top 10 things of why Snaps is better. Feel silly kind of having to explain all this, but at the same time, not all of you get to see behind the scenes like I do. And so we're going to get into it today. And so excited to share some of that. So what's up, David? It is Tuesday, my friend. I'm convinced that in heaven, like every day of the week is Tuesday. Not that you need an excuse to eat tacos, but I think in heaven, every day of the week is Taco Tuesday. That's my projection. Who knows? What's up, Matt? And Matt, how are you guys doing? Matt, and Mick, Henry, Andrew in the house. Yeah, no worries, Julius. If you aren't able to watch the whole thing, no worries. There will definitely be the replay available. And like I said, for those of you that are joining us on the replay in about 2-3 minutes time, so about 5 minutes in the video, probably we're going to get into the meat and potatoes because we got a lot to get through in tonight's live. What's up, Omar, Tia? Hey, everybody. Do me a favor, if you have not, the little ticker that's kind of scrolling by is saying, go ahead and grant StreamYard permission, StreamYard.com/Facebook. You only have to do that once, and then we'll be able to see who y'all are as you're commenting and questions and everything kind of coming into the group. What's up, Sarah? Cool. We're going to let some more people hop on today. Joe, what's going on? Today was a cool day. I don't know. It's like finally springtime, like the cherry blossoms and all those kind of things are blooming outside, which is nice. We got decent weather here in Bend. And it's just, I don't know about you guys. It's kind of like another cool time of the year, kind of like people are getting outside. It's nice. Most of the other states are kind of opening up a little bit. Unfortunately, we'll leave that conversation for another day. Oregon is kind of tightening things down a bit, but they can't keep us from getting outside. What's up, Juan? Paul? Test. Alexis, it worked. You are connected. So yeah, so exactly like you can see here on that side with Alexis, once you go ahead and authorize StreamYard, you'll be good to go here. Yeah, and Jeff is right. He says until it snows this weekend. I think it was like 4 years ago. There was this big outdoor CrossFit competition the first week of June. Pretty sure it was the end of May. I think. And we lost me. 1 second. Of course. We're gonna switch cameras. Okay, 1 sec. 1 2 1 2. All right, we're going to try this. All right, that might have to work for today. Unfortunately, shoot, man. Oh, this bums me out. This is not as ideal on the camera situation. Give me 1 sec, y'all. I try to turn these lights down a bit because that's just a little much, I think. That might help. Let's see here. It's a little dark. Sometimes you just gotta, oh man, that's like orange. Okay. You gotta roll with the punches. Okay. My camera literally just died on me. So we're gonna roll with it. All right. So we'll go with this camera for today. Sorry, the lighting is not as beautiful, but you know what? Mick says, yikes, the camera quality is very different, but you know what? The quality of the content is not going to be that. It is going to be just as good, if not better. So with all that said, if you were Oregon and Oregon in the black, yeah, there we go. Cool. All right, well, we are going to get rolling because I'm super excited about today's topic. Obviously, my My heart is a little invested in this one in terms of Snaps. Snaps is kind of my baby, and it's been a fun, you know, project to work on and company to start building. When I look at this space of kind of local lead generation, digital marketing, and what's needed, there's so many tools and apps and platforms out there. On one hand, I looked at the space and thought, hey, is there really anything? Um, I could close the blinds. Sarah's gonna make everything super dark though. Yeah, I don't. I'm gonna leave that. I'm gonna leave that like that for now. Okay, so looking at this space, it's like, what do we need? More tools? Do we need more platforms? All these different things, but we realized there was kind of such a big gap in what was being provided on the site builder side of things, and specifically with this idea of speed. Because I personally believe, in looking at what your time is worth, and there's always going to be a way to kind of like try to cut corners, save a couple bucks, save a little bit here and there. And usually those, any kind of shortcut in the short run usually ends up to being a longer route in the long run. I mean, it's the classic idea of the tortoise and the hare, right? Where, kind of slow and steady wins the race. And at the same time, we've all heard these little kind of colloquialisms. It's like, you get what you pay for. You're not going to go and spend money on a Kia or a Honda and expect the same level of luxury as you would from like a Bentley or a Maserati, right? I mean, it's just like, yes, they're both cars, they're both vehicles. They get you from point A to point B. They got a steering wheel, they got seats, they got, windows. They may even both have power windows and doors, but they're going to do it in a different fashion. And that's not to say that, the Maserati or the Bentley is always the right option either. Sometimes you need a pickup truck because you need to be able to get the job done. So it's all about matching the tool with the, what it is that you need to get done. And so we realize specifically when it comes to lead generation, when it comes to, digital marketing, site building, publishing online, having to keep up with, ever-changing algorithms, security requirements, development standards, all these different things is a lot to do. And most of us we're kind of either stuck between one of two options, either a platform, maybe like a Weebly or a Squarespace or a Wix, something like that, where the development side is totally out of your hands. Yeah, you can kind of do some customization type of things here and there, and they've got some really great builders and maybe some good themes and that kind of stuff, but you're handing everything over to this platform that you've got no control over. But out of that, you're getting simplicity. Usually you're paying a little bit more too, because those are like hosted platforms where you're paying and it includes the hosting and those kind of things. Or you're going the fully custom route, whether you're building something like on Tailwind or on, with WordPress or something along those lines. It's a lot more custom, usually also a whole lot cheaper on the front end in terms of hosting costs, because now you're not having to pay this third-party platform to host those sites. But there's a lot more legwork that goes into making sure that you're up to the right standards, security protocols, hiring developers. And even if you can do all that work yourself, kind of having to multiply your efforts, and what may be more, kind of cheaper and faster in the beginning, over time can get kind of more and more expensive, both and taxing, both time-wise and also monetarily. So that's what we're going to get into today, specifically in regards to Snaps, because a lot of you have asked, hey, why would I choose Snaps over this other platform? And I've continued to like push people back to the different groups and our users and people that are already using it, because obviously I'm a little biased, but I'm like, hey, don't take my word for it. Go ask everyone that is already using the platform, talk to them, because there's plenty of information out there about what our users are saying. And those of you in some of these groups and in JK and the like can attest and can speak to that about your experience with the platform. That obviously, myself being a co-founder, owner, investor, creator of this platform, I'm going to have a different opinion. And we're putting everything into it that I would want as a user. But at the end of the day, it really comes down to how effective is it for you, for our users? And so I kept pushing people off and saying, hey, talk to other users, like see what they say, see what their experience is, comparing it to their previous experiences. You can go on some of these third-party directories like Capterra and see what our reviews are there in some of the different groups that we're in. Talk to someone who's using it, and shoot, like, go ahead and register for a free account. You can go to go.snaps.ai, register for a free account, start building yourself, and see what the hype is all about. Now, as with anything, there's a little bit of a learning curve, but we're going to get into that today as kind of some of the benefits and things that we have going for you here. So without further ado, I want to dive into the top 10 reasons why we feel Snaps is superior to some of the other platforms out there, albeit a WordPress, a Wix, Squarespace, Shopify, you name it. All right. So who is ready to get rolling on this? David says it's an amazing experience to be in touch with the Snaps teams as the product rolled out. No, I agree, David. I think that that right there didn't hit our list, but especially for those of you that have been part of this journey, literally from the beginning, we are still in our kind of infancy stages, and it's only going to get better from here. And I would love to hear from you in the comments too. For those of you that are on the platform, what are some of the things that kind of are in your top 10 list? So drop those in the comments. Would love to see them. We got Hansel saying, Snaps is amazing. New online booking widget. Yes, that's coming. So that's one of the points in here. Chris says, let's go. This will be some good extra ammo. Exactly. So part of why we wanted to put together this training and this kind of live as well too, is because I know some of you are working with agency owners and businesses and trying to explain to them, the tools that you're using and why you choose one over the other. And so hopefully this will give you some ammunition for that. So without further ado, let's get rolling. Thing number one, pretty straightforward, and really the whole reason why we built Snaps in the first place, and that's the speed to build. If you talk to anybody that came from another platform, be it Weebly or WordPress, you name it, and they've moved to Snaps, they will tell you that Snaps is faster. They can simply get more content up, newer sites up, more pages out on an existing site faster on Snaps than you can on these other platforms. Some of that has to do with something we have called connected data. Connected data is a really kind of a smart way to build a website. If you can think of structuring something in the form of a template or a recipe. So a cake recipe might be kind of a form of using dynamic content or connected data. And if you put in different ingredients, so let's say you're always going to have flour, sugar, eggs, butter, but maybe there's the extra piece that gives it the flavoring that you can kind of swap in and out to make the cake a different flavor. That's kind of how connected data works. So with Snaps, we already have all of these kind of recipes ready to go when it comes to building your site. And you can simply kind of plug and play with those to get these your sites up faster. Not to mention the fact that we got things called like save sections, where we've got all these really killer templates. So even if you're working from an existing template, you can quickly add to that page pretty rapidly. Now, is this revolutionary? Are there other page builders that have templates that have save sections? Absolutely. But I think what makes the big difference here with Snaps specifically is with things like our connected data. When you go into Snaps, in fact, I might as well do this. Let me go ahead and log in to my Snaps account here. Oh, all right. 1 second. I should have logged in this one before the stream started here. Let's see. I'm gonna put the wrong one in. There we go. Okay, yeah, I'm in. Awesome. Okay. So as you can see, like when I'm here in my dashboard and I got Snaps loaded up, if I want to go into an existing website, this landscaping website is actually one that I just recently built for a client. Probably got the whole thing done in 30, 45 minutes based off of an existing one of our templates. But then you've got, these saved sections as well too that you can add in, like I talked about. So these are all the kind of like templates and things, which again, with, some other page builders you're going to have as well too. But I think specifically with regards to our business info panel and connected data, what's really incredible about this is every site comes with your business info. And so with a lot of the templates that we built, simply by filling out this business info panel, you're already going to populate your site with a bunch of the data that's required when you publish your site, as opposed to manually going to every single page and making these changes. Also, without having to go and install some sort of plugin that's going to do this across the board for you and not knowing where you're going to find that plugin, the business info is always in the same place. It's very flexible. You only drop in what you have, not what you don't. So like in this case, we don't have an Instagram handle, so we're not including that in here, but we do have a Facebook. And so when, I go over to the site, any area where there's like a social media section, you can see like down here, I've got this little Facebook logo, and that's showing up thanks to connected data. So, reason number one, again, speed to build. I think anybody here in the group can talk to, the speed at which it takes them to mock up a site. In fact, yeah, Dennis is saying, hey, I was able to build a mock-up of an electrician site for a company doing work at our house in about 45 minutes. The connected data part was a big help in that. Exactly. So it's, again, and Dennis, your check's in the mail. No, just kidding. Again, these are like real users who are using the platform. Didn't have to prompt Dennis to say it. Like, we get this feedback all the time. People are blown away once they finally jump in. Yeah, like I said, there might be a little bit of a learning curve here in the beginning, like, oh, how does the padding work and spacing and those kind of things? But all in all, able to get things built very, very quickly. Thing number two is going to be your speed to load. So again, you can see a pattern here, a focus on speed. The whole idea behind Snaps is publish faster, publish better, publish more, especially for those of us in the content creation space, in the lead generation space. It's so important that we are constantly creating, publishing, because that's our inventory. We share this analogy of like shoes on the shelf. If you're a shoe salesman and you have one shoe on the shelf or no shoes on the shelf, it's really hard to make any sales. And so you need inventory, which for us as marketers usually is content, it's traffic, it's the number of digital assets we have published, it's all those things. So we're trying to make this easier and faster for you. So when it comes to speed to load times, I don't know about you guys, if you've noticed whether people in and around you are more or less patient than they were maybe 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 20 years ago. I think there's a lot of things at play. Probably don't have to belabor the point on that in terms of social media, really kind of shortening our attention spans collectively, and also making people kind of just like, I want it now. I mean, there's a comedian out there who talks about the idea of Amazon Prime, and he's like, oh, Amazon Prime is just this. If we were to even talked about it, 10, 15 years ago, it's almost this godlike, like thing that we have where it's like, oh, I can just like think of something, I can look at it on a screen, I can press a button, and within 24 hours, like it's on my doorstep. And then he goes on even further. He's like, hey, I want Amazon now, where it's like literally, it's like it shows up in my hand. It's a pretty funny sketch. I'll see if I can find it. But this idea of speed, and the people that are visiting your websites expect that from you. And so everything that we have done with our dev partners, who are kind of behind the editor and the publishing engine that we use, as well as our product team, who does everything on kind of like the front end, the apps and integrations, and that whole dev team, all of our different teams are working together very specifically on this problem of speed load, of page load times, right? One of the things that we do is we prioritize the content above the fold. So what this means is, depending upon the device that someone comes to your website on, whether it's a mobile device or, right now I'm on a big, Apple Cinema display, or a laptop, we're going to know what is in the frame, what's above the fold, and we're going to load that content first. We're going to put priority on that, and that's going to help improve the user experience. If you're going to do that on another platform or on a custom site, you're going to have to custom code that into the site itself to make that happen. So that's built right out of the box. We use a thing called WebP images. So many of you have asked, like, hey, do I need to, optimize my photos before I upload them into Snaps? And the answer is no, you don't. You can upload a high res image into Snaps. And what we do is we actually create multiple versions of that. We use something called a WebP file. Uh, and before I get too far into the technical stuff too, I just want to let you know, I'm technical enough to work with our product team and our dev partners, but I am by no means an engineer or a coder. But I try to understand this stuff as much as I need to help guide where the product of Snaps is going, as the kind of the person at the tip of the spear and getting your guys' feedback on what we need to build into the platform. So just word of warning there, but using WebP just so you're not having to optimize those photos going in. We'll do that for you, which again, maybe that saves you 20, 30 seconds, 60 seconds an image. I don't know how long it takes you to take an image, resize it, rename it, upload it, whatever. But look at how many images you have on a site and how many times you're doing that over how many sites. That adds up over time. And so what may feel like this kind of like, oh, it'll only take 5 minutes. I couldn't tell you how many times I get the question every day of like, hey, I just have a quick question for you. But you have just enough of those, they add up over time, right? And so anywhere that we can shave off your time to get something published or get something up is going to be huge. Not to mention the effect it has on the other end when your site is actually loading. Now we're also going to load the highest resolution image that we can based upon the device and the bandwidth and all these things of the visitor visiting your site. There were some cool comments in here. Yeah, I think John says someone once said that money loves speed. Yeah, absolutely. I think marketing loves speed. That was a kind of a mantra of ours at the agency that I came from. Marketing loves speed. Money loves speed. I think the whole reason why professional athletes are so good at what they do is they get so many repetitions at the thing that they're trying. Michael Jordan missed a whole heck of a lot of shots. Larry Bird missed a lot of 3-pointers. Babe Ruth had a lot of strikeouts, but they also had a lot of times up at bat. And so in our space, that looks like your ability to go out and test something new, test some new copy, test some new content, get a new page up, you name it. Okay. So money loves speed. So the speed to load times. We also do something called code splitting. So again, without getting, I don't want to go super technical on this, but I know there's some of you in here who really do want to understand, hey, like why is Snaps better than the rest? We do something called code splitting where, yes, there is some JavaScript embedded in your site that basically allows us to kind of interact with some of the widgets and things that are used on your site. So like, for example, a photo gallery, right? There's some JavaScript that's required to fire in order to make that photo gallery work. So somebody loads up your site. Let's say above the fold, there's no photo gallery, but down below the fold, there is. Remember, we're going to prioritize everything that's above the fold first. So that user is going to have a good experience. This also affects some things down the line too that we're going to get into in terms of ranking. But then below the fold, there's that photo gallery. We have to fire off that JavaScript to run that photo gallery. Now, let's say on your homepage, you don't have a photo gallery. You just have static images and you have photo galleries on other pages. Well, we're not going to run that JavaScript on that page. So this is all kind of happening dynamically behind the scenes so that your pages load faster, which is also a ranking factor. It's not necessarily, going to be a big deal breaker or kind of deal maker if you're not working in a super competitive space. If you're working in a local space, your local landscaper, pest control, you name it, probably not going to be that big of a deal. But when you're working with some of these bigger brands, more competitive industries and niches, those are the kind of things where like, in NASCAR racing, they're shaving off, just a hair, a little bit of weight or adding a little bit of extra torque or horsepower. Those are the things that are going to make the difference for you. Thing number 3. So if the first was speed to build, second was speed to load, third is speed to rank. And no, these are not all 10 things going to be speed, but I intentionally put the first 3 here all about speed because again, if you look at the core vision of what Snaps is all about, it is to uh, help you get to that result faster, to publish more, publish better, publish more often, more efficiently, really, because I think your time is worth money. And so this idea of speed to rank, we've gotten a lot of feedback from users who are saying, hey, my sites are indexing faster than they were on other platforms. This is honestly, this is even the same thing when you look at different registrars where you go and purchase your domain from, and you have to set up your DNS records, right? So you publish a site, you set up your DNS records. Those DNS records have to propagate. It's a lot of technical lingo, which if you're not technical, don't worry about it. It's all just to say that, like, hey, it takes a little bit of time once you make an action live on the internet for it actually to show up. And some registrars will actually push those activities, those records live faster than others. And the same is true here in terms of like getting indexed. And we've had a lot of users who have come back and said, hey, I used to publish on Weebly. It took forever to get stuff indexed, and I'm seeing that happen faster on Snaps. I'm even seeing sites rank on Snaps before I even go out and do any backlinking. Now, that's not to say that that's going to happen on all your sites. This is just the feedback that we're getting from our users who are saying, hey, I have this experience over here on this other platform, and here's what I'm seeing on Snaps. But the things that I can tell you, objectively speaking, are that we do some technical things behind the scenes automatically for you. So we create a sitemap automatically, and that is published. Makes it easier for Google and the other search engines to crawl your sites. You don't have to go create this XML file and upload it, via FTP, and put it into console and all these different things to generate that sitemap file. We're going to do that for you automatically. We also create your robots TXT file, which is that thing that allows Google to know what's going on with your site and kind of crawling your site. Okay. I've talked about this before, but our entire publishing engine is also built around Google Lighthouse specs. So there's this thing called First Contentful Paint. And again, this is one of those things where I'm like, I am not the super tech guy. When I hear this, I'm more like, yeah, you done with FCP? Yeah, you know me. Sorry, I had to insert like at least one bad dad joke there. Like, anyways, which maybe that's not a dad joke. I don't know. But, what Google Lighthouse does, it's this kind of like ranking and scoring system. And Google is looking at things like this, like FCP, which is basically what we talked about before, where, hey, the time it takes between somebody loading your website and then content starting to show up is very important. There's actually another thing on there. It's called, what is it? It's like TTI, and then there's TBT, which is total blocking time. So there's basically the time between stuff first starting to load and then your site actually being usable by a visitor. So imagine, we've all seen it before. In fact, actually a buddy of mine, his dad was the one, if you ever remember back in like the old AOL days, he invented the algorithm where when an image loads, it loads kind of in phases, and you would see like bits and pieces of it load at a time, so that you didn't have to just wait for the whole thing to load. Now stuff tends to load a lot faster than that, especially when you're doing things like we do with Snaps kind of behind the scenes. But this idea of, okay, yeah, it's one thing to start showing content on the page. It's another for now the user to be able to interact with the page, for them to be able to click a button, enter a form, engage with the gallery, whatever's on the page. And so Google Lighthouse is looking at those types of metrics. So everything that we're building on in our publishing engine is all around that. So you might end up running your site through some of these, third-party tools to get a score from them on these page load times and things. And you might get some suggestions like, remove the unused JavaScript, those kind of things, which are kind of these tertiary, less important, they're still important, they're still a factor, but maybe less important factors. Whereas the things up at the top of the list are, hey, when's that content first starting to load? How soon until your site is actually usable by someone on screen? And again, this is something that we take care of for you completely with our publishing engine with Snaps. So that's all done and taken care of for you. So those are things that help the kind of the ability to rank, right? Making sure that you've got a clean, efficient site. Then the rest is up to you, which is the quality and the amount of your content. Which I think, going back to point number one, the speed to build helps that speed to rank, right? Because the faster you can get something up, the faster you can start optimizing and working on it. Which takes us actually to number four, which is kind of collaboration and optimization. But before I hop into there, I'm just going to hop into the comments real quick and see where we're at. I'm sure we got a couple of questions, and so I want to go ahead and get those answered. So let me see what we got going on here. Mick says, no need to optimize images, but will geotags be retained by Snaps? Yeah, we're actually working on a widget right now where you'd be able to do the geotagging there inside of Snaps without having to leave Snaps. But yeah, absolutely. You can go ahead and geotag your images, upload them, and we would be able to retain all that data. Chris says, yes, go technical, please. Thank you. Yeah, no worries. There you go. Ashley says, my 2-paragraph Snap site is already on page 2 after only 2 weeks. So again, this is results may not be common, but Ashley is we're getting this feedback pretty often, and again, we are doing everything that we can to make sure that the publishing engine and the training and everything that we're giving you is going to give you the best shot at success in getting not just your site published, but more importantly, in front of the right people at the right time with the right messaging, because that's what is going to get business done for you and for your customers. Free SSL cert, nice bonus. Yeah, we're going to get into that in just a minute. Google Lighthouse optimization plus AWS is superhero status. Absolutely. All right. Geotagging in Snap. Yeah, absolutely, Hansel. We're working on that right now. I want to get that built in, just because I know all these little things, they can add up. I think for things like Google My Business, those geotags are a lot more important than specifically getting a site ranked. Still important, but not at the top of the list. But we want to help you kind of knock all these things out at once. Let me see if I want to make sure I didn't miss anything else. Oh, here we go. Is there a recommended image format to maximize Snap's load speed? Pretty sure Snap's automatically Yep. No specific format. I mean, you can use PNGs, JPEGs. We also do support SVGs. And if you upload your SVGs fully black in color, you can actually change the color if you use it as like an icon type of tool. So SVGs, PNGs, and JPEGs, but really whatever kind of works best for you will take care of the rest behind the scenes. Can Snaps be used for making a logged in website? I think you're talking maybe about a membership site. And yes, in fact, we're in beta on member sites at the moment. So that is coming. Okay. Collaboration and optimization. If you look at the world and the way with everyone going remote, with the workforce kind of being spread out now, and people even in their own towns kind of having to collaborate. A lot of you are agency owners or small business owners that are working with marketers, and the ability for your teams to work on things, for you to work on sites with your partners is really, really important. And so we make that as easy as possible. We actually currently have a way to share access between sites, so that the same exact site, which has what we call a site ID, it's kind of like a social security number for that site, can be shared with different permissions between different users pretty easily. That also means that those sites are portable. So they can be bought, sold, transferred, ownership transitioned, over time. So I think I've shared this example before, where when I was with the agency that I was at, we did a lot of email marketing. And so we had a lot of email lists, and we had clients with email lists. And sending out email is not cheap. When at least when you're talking about having, a list of 300,000 emails and you're sending out daily, if not twice a day or even more emails to that list, the cost for that can add up. So we had a kind of like an agency level, like professional level account with our email service provider. And we were able to basically bring our clients in on that account, and they would get the benefit of the discounts that we got as our agency rate. Plus, they got all the features and benefits that we got as an agency user of this platform. But the cool thing about it was they were never locked in. So when I was doing deals with these other companies, one of my favorite things to let them know is like, because it really it took away the risk for them, because a lot of these companies, their email list was like the most valuable asset that they had, and they were always, if not nervous, at least very intentional about who they let have access to that and who is managing it for them. So if we won that account, I would say, hey, look, we're going to manage this email. You're going to get all these benefits by, putting it into an instance. You're still going to have your own login, all that. But if things ever happen and we need to part ways, you can take it with you. You don't have to like remigrate your email, which is a big pain in the butt, just like moving sites can be. You don't have to do that. We can basically separate your account out. All the historical data, everything is there. You can continue sending. You'll just have to pay whatever the normal rate is at that time. And I remembered that, like when we were building Snaps, is like, I want that on the site side of things, where an agency owner can build a site for a client, can manage the site for the client, but can tell that client like, hey, if you ever need to walk for whatever reason, you can, and you have this option to do that. Obviously, you're not going to get my discounted rate. You wouldn't have access to me, but you could take that site with you. Because I don't know how many of you have dealt with a client who maybe has a WordPress site and a developer built that site for them. You can't even find access to where the hosting is anymore. Who has the password? You're having to rebuild the thing, or they won't give it to you, right? It just can be a really kind of like painful situation that I know a lot of business owners have gone through. So with Snaps, everything is totally portable, so it can be taken quite easily. And then on the optimization side, you look at just like how things are built in here. We have what I would call an adaptive editor versus responsive. So a lot of times you hear responsive web design, which means you design this desktop version of the site, right? And it would automatically create a version for mobile, which we do that a little bit, per se. There are elements that are taken from the desktop version that apply to mobile, but we actually give you complete control over what the different views are on here. And as Google moves to a mobile first kind of ranking protocol, this becomes more and more important. So this idea of having an adaptive versus a responsive site are going to be more and more important. So collaboration and optimization, that's reason number 4 why Snaps is better than the rest. We make it a whole lot easier to collaborate, and we're going to be doing more of this, by the way, coming soon. There's going to be more features and permission levels coming for team and clients. And obviously, as soon as we have those ready to roll, y'all will be the first to know. Plus, we make sites easily portable there. Number 5, why Snaps is the bee's knees. It's more secure. Objectively speaking, hands down, it's just security is better with Snaps than it is elsewhere. That has to do with the fact that, I think somebody had mentioned before, it was Tyrone. Yeah, you get the free SSL certificate. So your sites get that SSL cert automatically. We have some documentation if you need to refresh that certificate or what you need to do to basically get that free SSL. But in addition to that, we partner with Amazon AWS, so everything is hosted on Amazon, which has got to be, I don't know how much of the web they're hosting now, but it's a pretty significant chunk of the web, and their protocols are very strong. We have a guaranteed 99.9% uptime on all sites. But honestly, the thing that is probably the most important here is the fact that Snaps is not an open source system. It's an enclosed proprietary system. So that means, you know, you uh, there there's not everyone on the web doesn't have access to our source code. Whereas with WordPress, everybody does. It's an open source solution, which is great in one respect because it makes it more flexible. Now you can have developers all over the world building plugins and features and templates and things for WordPress. The downside of that is security. And I've I've had sites on WordPress that have gotten hacked. You talk to anybody that's been on WordPress for any length of time, they probably have some kind of story like that, especially when you're dealing with yeah, and Emery says Google Lighthouse optimization plus AWS. Exactly. So that kind of like security and strength there is it's a killer combination. But having an enclosed system, a proprietary system, is really crucial just because that means our source code is not public information. There are some downsides to that too. Sometimes, a third party tool might be running an audit on one of your sites because they don't have access to the source code. They may throw they may not have accurate data on certain things inside the site, but we're fine with that because we know how fast our sites load. We know how good they are. And so we'll be coming out with some tools too that'll be included to help you make sure that your sites are optimized and you've kind of gone through the correct checklist of things depending upon the result or the performance you're trying to get out of the specific site. But having that, again, that enclosed system is just so key. Not to mention the simplicity in it and being able to log into one place and have all your sites in one spot, but just knowing too that these sites are not sitting on a server in Gabriel's basement. They're not, the code of your site is not out there on the web, or at least the kind of the publishing engine to where hackers and things can find. Now, are there always people out there who are trying to hack in to any site or system? Absolutely. But we've got the best of the best that are kind of on the product side of things, ensuring that that doesn't happen. And the fact that we get to keep all that information on our source code private is huge. Plus, this also means any of the widgets, plugins, apps, integrations, all those sort of things were built by our developers and partners, not by some random out on the internet, which again, there's a lot of really great developers out there that create some really cool tools. But if they're not updated, if they're not supported, if somebody finds a way to kind of hack in through like one of those plugins, your site can easily be compromised. All right. Let's see. Here we go. No more geo image bills. Yeah, there we go. Absolutely, Yusuf. Yeah, if Snaps had built-in SEO tools, it's on the list, my friend. Absolutely. I would love to be able to geotag, but more easily rename photos from the letter and number strings that are on the stock photos. Yeah, absolutely. I can put together a video on that, Lee, because I've shown a couple people how to do that. It's actually not that difficult. I know there are some ways to do it in there where you go in, you download the image, you re-upload the image, you rename it. You may be going through some extra steps that you don't have to do because it is still pretty simple to rename the photos, even if you are using some of the free images that we have within there. Well, Snaps, you get a wider variety of stock photos. Probably not in Snaps, but we will in AdSling. Absolutely. And that would be the same thing with icon selection, Lee. So yeah, so everything like graphically based, AdSling is another project that we have on board that we're going to be putting more and more resources into. And that really has to do with all of kind of creating media that converts, creating graphics and those sorts of things. And then there will be a connection directly from AdSling into Snaps where you'll be able to push those things in. Same thing with favicons and all this. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, let's see. Let me make sure I didn't miss anything down here. Yeah, malware. When your client doesn't want to update a custom plugin, arguing about cost with dev, so you can't update. Yeah, actually, I was talking with our product team about this live that I'm doing today, and they actually said, "Hey, you know what we're going to do? We'll give you a top 10 list." So once I have that, I'll actually post that as well. It's basically a top 10 reasons that developers love Snaps. And we were going through just some of the things that you would need on some of these other custom sites that would actually become very expensive too in the long run. Some of these bills, 300-400 bucks a year per site, just to have these certain plugins, booking engines, you name it, that's all kind of built in with Snaps. Okay, cool. Awesome. Yeah. And speaking of AdSling, nice presentation. Yeah, you guys may have noticed that we practice what we preach. We use our own stuff. This prezo was made in AdSling in about 20 minutes tops, maybe. I don't know. And I'm not a designer. Okay. So security. I think security is a huge one and if it's not, it should be, because in any sort of digital business, your digital assets are the most valuable asset. You need to make sure that they are protected and in a system that's protected. Okay, personalization. A lot of you know about this kind of automation that we have. It's make it very easy to do certain things based on the time of day, the number of visits that someone comes to your site. So, let's say you build a site for a bakery, and, every day after, let's say between 1 p.m. and 4 p.m., they're kind of closing things up. They're pretty slow. And that's when they're selling, either their day olds or the stuff from that morning. And it's like, maybe they have a special deal where, get a free pastry with a coffee or whatever, get your afternoon caffeine hit and get a free pastry too. Right. So if somebody comes to the site, let's say after 1 o'clock, you could show that banner, you could show that pop-up, and we make this very easy. This is something that, in most other systems, you're going to have to go either build a widget on Elf site, or you're going to have to pay some other, create some other plugin or use some other sort of tool to add this sort of automation to your site, which is going to add personalization to your site. You can do things based on the type of device, whether they're coming from a mobile device or not. A lot of us who are in the local lead generation space, somebody's showing up on a mobile device and I'm wanting to get that phone call, being able to make that like really big kind of click to call button obvious, like, hey, get your free instant quote here. That can be a game changer when it comes to getting more conversions out of your website. You can also trigger this personalization based on geolocation. So depending upon where somebody is at, you can serve them up a different message, which again could be huge in any sort of local business. So imagine having a directory, and depending upon where someone lands on your directory, you could serve them up a different pop-up, that goes to the specific vendor that you're looking for. There's so much that you can do with personalization. And again, that's something that's built right into Snaps. You don't have to pay extra for. We've got a bunch of those recipes already ready to go, and we're only going to build more. Professional templates. I know a lot of you just love the look and feel of your Snap sites, and a lot of that has to do with the fact that we've got some incredible designers that have built a lot of the templates that we've got, and we've only got more that are coming out. Actually, currently onboarding some more designers onto the team and helping us put some things together. So actually, if you are a talented web designer and think that you could make some killer templates on Snaps, please hit me up. Would love to get you in the mix because we want to be pushing more of these out. Right now, I counted just before the live, and we're at 205 custom templates. That includes templates with our kind of like certified partners, which is the other thing too. So we now have multiple training partners, certified training partners that we work with in, a lot in the kind of online and digital marketing space, who, each have their own methodology and way of doing lead generation or SEO or Facebook ads, funnels, you name it. And if you are one of those, certified training partners, we actually make it to where, you can design all those templates in Snaps, and we can basically, through the backend permissions, give those to anybody that is in your training group. So we're now, in addition to all of the professional, like premium templates that you're getting just as a general Snaps user, and your clients would, depending upon, which, the kind of training programs that you're in. So like a lot of our JK fam, who's like near and dear, you're getting those special templates, or if you're part of BAM or any of these other training groups, you're getting those, or Social Ad Tribe, you name it. You're going to have those specific professional templates. Plus, we always commit to having, more new and more kind of like free templates. Actually, I just went to theme forest before hopping on here just to see like the value of some of this stuff. So if you were to buy like any of these WordPress themes, you can see, most of them are, 19, 59, 39, 24, and this is per theme or per site. And yeah, you could use this theme same time, multiple times over. With Snaps, you have 205 of these templates at your fingertips. Maybe depending upon what groups you're in at the time. I mean, maybe you only have 100 of them, but still, shoot, you got a freaking 100 professionally designed templates going back to thing number one that are wired up with connected data to help you build a site faster. So just another reason, again, why Snaps over the competitors. You're not having to go out and pay for these extra themes and templates, stock photos that are included, you name it. Okay. Bonus apps and integrations. You guys are looking at AdSling right here. This presentation deck was built in AdSling. In fact, let me show you behind the scenes of AdSling a little bit. So this is, just kind of like another online graphic design type tool. I can create all sorts of different projects here. We've got some templates, for social, whether you're creating something for Facebook or maybe you need some video thumbnails for your YouTube videos or website graphics, downloadable checklist type stuff, you name it, you can design it in AdSling. And we currently have a partnership with AdSling where anybody that is on the decade pack or higher, so that means 10 sites or higher, or decade pack or higher, you're getting a free AdSling Agency Lite account, completely free. So you get to use that tool, whereas maybe you're having to go somewhere else and you're paying Canva $7-9 a month, whatever it is. Again, I know it's not huge, but hey, it saves you one less thing that one less bill that you got to pay somewhere else. Not to mention the fact that we're building those integrations in where AdSling and Snaps will be working together here very soon. On top of that, you've got CallSling, which is our preferred call tracking platform. One of our own, Vanessa Wood, helped put together this little page in Snaps here, and it's still kind of a work in progress, but it's looking great. But this page actually talks all about this really cool chat widget that we've got now that's built into CallSling. And same thing for those on the decade pack or higher, they're getting free access to this CallSling chat widget that retails at $97 a month. So again, that's another just like benefit you're getting. So these kind of bonus apps and integrations, we're going to continue building more of them. In fact, the next premium widget that somebody had asked about earlier is our Calendly. It's kind of like a Calendly like booking engine. So being able to book appointments and things, that's going to be a premium widget that's included there in Snaps. And then next up after that, we've got some integrated apps coming. We're going to be creating a lightweight CRM that comes along with every single website. So be looking out for that. Which, how cool is that going to be for those of you in the local space, being able to build sites for clients, saying, hey, this site also comes with like, a CRM. It's not this big crazy CRM that, Bob the plumber, because Bob the plumber doesn't want a CRM. He just wants to know what's happening with his leads, his customers. And if you can include that with, with his site, for him, you're going to be light years beyond the competition. So let me pop back in here into the chat, make sure I didn't miss anything. Nick says, nice, would love to see more agency and lead gen templates. Yeah, absolutely. So would I. So if you are a designer and you want to design some of those and share them with me, I'm all about results in advance, and trust me, we're hiring too. So if you can show me that you do good work, I would love to see it. But we do have some people who are working on some things right now as well too. Okay. There we go here. Okay. Bobby asks, how do you get access to AdSling? So yeah, so if you're on the decade pack or higher in Snaps, just message our support team, which is just here, www.snaps.ai/chat. shoot us a message, and we will go ahead and get you set up in AdSling. Okay. Go back here, so make sure I didn't miss anything else. Okay, yeah, I think someone was asking, where did it go? Okay, yeah, there's, nope, I clicked on the wrong one. Sorry, one sec. Can you change the website template easily after publishing? No, and it's not recommended, Punit. What I would recommend doing if you're going to change the template, I would actually just recommend creating a new site and then copying the content over. We did have in the beta version a reset site template, and that is an option. Some of you may actually still have those permissions lingering. We are going to be pushing an update and what's the word they call that? Sunsetting that feature. That was a temporary fix before we had our template picker to allow people to go ahead and pick a template. But the reason why we don't do that is because of the way that we design our templates. If all of our templates followed the exact same layout and format, it would be very easy to do because now you're mapping content from one template to another. It's just too complex of a problem, and for us, honestly, it's not worth it. And we feel like we'd be handicapping you, because then you find most users end up going in and they're noodling and picking different templates and swapping between templates, and they never get anything published. So our encouragement is always publish fast, publish better, publish more often. Even if you look at our very first version of the snaps.ai website, that had one very distinct look and feel. It was not very good because I built it because we were just getting the thing out, right? But then we hired a professional designer to come in, and they added new pages and built out a new site in the same site on different pages using saved sections and the like, which is going to be a whole lot more efficient than going out. Again, everyone's going to have a different workflow, opinion, and process on this. We believe it's a whole lot better to be moving forward than to be taking those steps back and redoing work that you've already done. So there's kind of a reason why we kind of took that stance. Okay. All right. Awesome. Oh, let me get back to, and we're almost there. Appreciate you guys hanging with me on this. Hopefully this is helpful. If it is, let me know in the chat. Number 9, results focused training. I mean, exactly what we're doing here. I think most platforms out there are doing some kind of occasional webinar here and there. Usually it's to get somebody into the platform, or they're doing like technical updates and pushing out updates and those kind of things. Our training and support is all around getting results. So if we're looking at not just creating a beautiful website, that's great, would love to do that, but why do you have a website? What's the purpose behind? Are you trying to generate a lead, generate a customer, book an appointment? And so giving you the tools and training that you need to create that kind of a website is really what we're doing here. So, if you look just a few weeks ago, I had a training all about local business and FAQ schema and how to use that to show up higher and better in the rankings. And we've already had feedback from users who have said, hey, I enabled local business schema and I went from page 6 to page 2, without changing anything else. Or, I added my FAQ accordion widget and added schema there. And again, this is all based off the training that we're doing every single week. So we got this kind of weekly training. And then for those of you too in some of our partner programs like JK, like you guys are getting even more training than the rest of the world is, because you're a part of kind of our core fam. Then it was 2 weeks ago, I think we did the fast cash web builds training. It was all about like agency owners looking to go out there, create and generate some fast cash by mocking up sites using the free feature here, which if you go into Snap, so if I pop, actually that's what I did here with that landscaping site. If you go here, let me make this a little bigger so it's a little easier to see. So if I'm in my dashboard here and I click on this little 3-dot menu, I can click on preview and it opens up this preview link. So I was able to take this link. I haven't even published the site. So you see the site is unpublished. And I was able to share this link with my prospect and say, hey, I noticed you didn't have a website. You just have a Facebook page and you're getting some referral business. There's a young couple, like a husband and wife team. I think they're like 22, 23 years old. They just started their landscaping business. I was like, hey, I mocked this site up for you. I used all their photos from their Facebook page and just pulled them in here. And now they can see what it looks like in real time. We did this training just a couple of weeks ago. People are already making money with this training because, again, it's results focused training that we're providing you guys here with Snaps. What's coming next? Certification programs. We already dropped a little bit about migration certifications, but there's going to be even more on the certification side of things. Now, the final number 10 reason why Snap's above the rest. I think, other than the fact that just saving time, which to me is the most important thing, I'd pay an extra $4 a month to save time and heartache and stress. But that aside, our support, by far and away, the most important reason to switch to Snaps. No other platform is going to give you the level of support that we do, in terms of personal chat, weekly Q&As, near instant turnaround times on most inquiries via chat, same day, within 24 hours on email. We have almost 24/7 coverage now with our support team. There's a couple windows where we have a little bit of a gap in between. We are working on some additional tech that is actually going to be a fully integrated ticketing and support system to make your lives even easier, so we can continue to offer the same level of service that we have from day one. Obviously, day one, beta group, 20, 30 people, very easy to support at a personal level. As we grow and we're approaching the kind of numbers that we are with thousands of users already, we want to maintain that same level of white glove support. Again, I think other than the time savings, which to me is the most important, the support is the second most important reason why Snap's above everyone else. And again, you don't have to just take my word for it. Talk to anybody that has engaged with our support team that's had an issue. Ask how many people thought that they found a bug, realized it was a user error, but our support team still walked them through, like, oh no, hey, here's where you go to toggle that thing off that you accidentally toggled on, or hey, providing the kind of training with, I love how Dave Ramsey talks about, like, the heart of a teacher. He's there, any of these financial professionals, they're servicing a client, they treat it less as a salesman, more like a teacher. So they're teaching their clients. That's kind of how we see it. We want to help you. We want to teach you so that you can use this tool to its maximum impact. And then also, you look at, like I mentioned, for some of those of you that are on our special trainings and other programs, you guys are getting even more support. You're getting support directly in your Facebook groups that the rest of the world is not. Plus, right now we are offering free migration service. So that had come up earlier. What if I want to migrate from another platform to Snaps? We are offering that. So, don't lift a finger. We'll help you make the move. All you got to do is email us, support@snaps.ai. So if you are on another platform, if you're on Weebly, WordPress, Wix, you name it, go ahead and you want to move all your sites to Snaps, go ahead and shoot us an email. I do not know how long we're going to offer this for free, because we're already starting to get a long list of requests of people who want us to help them do those migrations. And obviously, you could migrate yourself. Plenty of users who did and have and are continuing to do that, no problem. But if you want our help doing it, shoot us an email at support@snaps.ai. We just need these two things. We need a list with all the URLs you want migrated. So preferably in like a Word doc or a PDF or a Google Doc, but shoot us a document, like a single document that has that whole list. And then 2, your login credentials to the current platform. So like if you're on Weebly and can give us your login credentials, that makes the kind of audit process a lot easier too, especially if you have any hidden pages or thank you pages, anything like that, we can find it and get those built faster. So again, just another kind of component to our white glove support I'd like to see another platform that's like, hey, we will move your site for you to switch to our platform. I don't think you're gonna find one. Um, Let me go ahead and see what questions. Oh, here, I'll throw that back up on here. Oh shoot, yeah, and there was something I completely missed too. I forget which slide I was going to talk about this in, but it's e-commerce. So check this out. So if you look at Shopify pricing here, Shopify is primarily e-commerce only. I know they're probably getting a little bit better at the like funnel and landing page build out type of stuff and SEO components. I would argue that our SEO features are superior. Landing page like page builder uh, features also superior, and our pricing is pretty comparable at the basic level. Much better at the kind of like intermediate and advanced levels when you're talking about doing e-commerce on snaps. So we kind of we're looking specifically at Shopify pricing. We're trying to be competitive with Shopify, knowing that the actual underlying website that you're building is going to be a better experience, an easier experience. And we have some new features that are coming out with like being able to bulk update products. So for those of you that are dealing with stores that have like hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands of products, making it easier for you to bulk update those and having everything integrated in a single system. So you're not, again, having to get these different platforms and tools. I think it was a Zipify used to be the page builder, back in the agency days that we would use with Shopify. So you'd have to have Shopify, then you'd have to have Zipify, and then you would have to have this other thing to be able to do like one-click upsells, and you'd have all these different tools. At the end of the day, it would get very expensive and also very kind of convoluted when you're building those kinds of marketing systems and funnels. But let me go back here into the comments and see if I'm missing anything. Okay. All right. Russell says, will done for you template be available on snaps? So Russell, I think you're talking about the done for you templates from Donnie Leeds, who's one of our partners. Donnie Leeds and his team build lead gen sites for you guys on snaps with his templates. Those are his kind of proprietary IP. No, those are not publicly available. Now, obviously, if you buy done for you sites from Donnie, you now have that site in your account. You can duplicate that site if you would like, but we cannot make somebody else's. Just like if you were running an agency and doing site builds, we wouldn't make that available to the general public either. Template question: you have multiple carpet cleaning sites. You do design updates on one site, maybe 10 to 20 changes. Can you make it easy to propagate those design changes to the other 9 carpet cleaning sites? There is something that we're looking at. I don't know realistically, timeline wise, how soon it's coming on the roadmap, but there is a solution that we've looked at with our partner team and our product team to make this possible, Chris. But again, this kind of goes back to there's a difference between being efficient and being effective. Efficient is doing the thing as fast as possible. Effective is doing the right thing. And so totally get it when it comes to, if you've got 9 other carpet cleaning sites that are not ranking or not generating traffic, and then you finally find the thing on the one site that works, that's going to unlock the traffic and get you to page 1 and get you in that top spot. And you want to go do that to the other 9 or 10. But more often than not, I found like those kind of tweaks are like people want to like noodle, like, oh man, it just doesn't like, I want it to look a little better. I want to do this. Again, if you're working on like a name brand, an Apple, a Nike, a healthcare company, a telecom company, like a big site, usually then though you're only dealing with like one site. With these other kind of assets, it's more about like, hey, what's the result the thing is producing? And I would focus more on that than some of these other kind of more call them, I guess in the marketing space, we call them vanity metrics. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter, how fast your page loads or what how many clicks you got on your email, like how many people opted into your thing and became a lead, or how many people bought your product, right? Okay. Yeah, Pierre says, I did use support several times. You're doing great night and weekends even. Yeah, absolutely, Pierre. We realize we have friends all over the globe, and so we try to keep a near close to 24/7 support schedule available. And yes, Jordan, we are still looking for help migrating sites. So if you check out last Friday's video and follow the instructions on there, we'll be rolling next steps out on that soon. We're going to be able to build an IDX website. Yes, Laura. Yes, that is coming. Can you estimate ballpark range of an individual site migration will be in the future if we want to sell it as a service among everything else? Whatever you think you could charge for it. And no, so until we have a price on that, I'm not going to share a price specifically. I think you could look at any other service, how many pages you need to build on a thing, how much work goes into it. I think doing something like on a per page basis for a migration fee, honestly, like if I were you and I were an agency person trying to like sell this service among everything else, I would take a cue from what we're doing with snaps, and I would maybe follow suit, and I would say, hey, normally it's $50 a page or $20 a page or whatever you want to come up with to migrate this site, or it's $5 a page, and but we'll waive that to for you to become one of our clients. I used to do this all the time on the Facebook ad side of things. So I would go find a new client who was going to give us, $10,000-$20,000 of Facebook ad spend. And before we could ever spend money on Facebook, we would have to design what's called an ad bank. We'd need to design the ads, write the copy, all that. And there was a value to that, $800 to $1,500 maybe, of a little bit of research, some design, some copy. And usually what I would do is I'd say, hey, like this thing is worth 1,500. We're gonna comp that. I'm gonna discount this 1,500 for you just like spending money with us and giving us your ad spend. And it gives you kind of some little more. It places the actual value on your time and what you're doing for your clients, but it also shows like, hey, I'm willing to do what it takes to earn you as a customer. Shopify only works well with paid ads. Yeah. So it's again, I think our SEO features are superior, and it sounds like Jordan can attest to that as well too. Can we use the same free migration for any clients that want to just migrate for speed but have the same? Obviously, yeah, absolutely, Chris. So the only thing that we ask is that you're on at least the decade pack or higher, which I believe you are. And we don't want to do just like 1Z, 2Z type of migrations. But if you need some help with a client and you're going to move them onto Snaps, yeah, absolutely. A site is a site is a site. And if it's in your account, then awesome. Are the e-commerce integrated with vendor and advertising platforms? Yes, yeah. So you can integrate with to update your inventory. In fact, the product catalog itself is where all of that would be updated and then triggering into like whatever. I mean, it depends on I guess what third-party system it is that you have and what sort of hooks they have to accept data from your Snap site. Mick says he usually contacts support by Facebook Messenger. Any difference than contacting from email? Nope. The same people are answering both. I think we're, it kind of just depends upon what's happening with the conversation. Feel free to use either. We may at some point move to chat only being for premium users, because right now we're supporting everybody with chat, and we're kind of working through some ways to better help you. The whole idea of teach a man to fish rather than just giving him a fish. And so we want to make sure that we are helping to train and equip you guys to be able to find the resources and things that you need to solve your own problems when it comes to Snaps, and using those support channels for genuine support needs, whether it's billing, an account specific issue, a genuine bug. But those are few and far between. A lot of the questions that we get, honestly, even in the Snaps chat, have to do with SEO and things, which is not really what the Snap support team is trained or equipped or supposed to be answering. But at the same time, like, we're trying to help and point you in the right directions of some of those kind of answers. So no, feel free to use either. Okay. Snaps has the best customer service I had. Any issues and they zoom me. Yeah. So, yeah, Calvin's awesome. Usually when Calvin's on there, he's willing to hop on a quick Zoom if needed. Okay. Let's see here. Before we get rolling, we're gonna wrap here just shortly. But I'd be remiss if I didn't include some bonus reasons. So I gave you 10 reasons. Well, I guess we can run through those again here real quick. Why Snaps is better than the rest. The speed to build, arguably much faster to build on Snaps than other platforms. Speed to load. So when a visitor actually comes to your site, those pages are loading faster. And I kind of shared some of the technical reasons as to why and how our publishing engine is built. Speed to rank. We're getting a lot of feedback from users who are saying that their sites are indexing faster and ranking faster and generating leads. And a lot of it probably has to do with some of the things that we have, like enabling FAQ schema, local business schema, the way the sites are structured, those page load times, you name it. Collaboration and optimization. We make it much easier for you to collaborate with others on your sites. And we're going to be releasing some features very soon that make that even easier with team and clients. Plus, those sites are all portable, which makes it easier for you and your clients if you need to kind of move those sites around between accounts, whether you're buying, selling, you name it. Plus, the optimization of the sites to be able to add content to using dynamic content, all this stuff. Arguably, Snaps is more secure. You take AWS, you take an enclosed proprietary system, a 99.9% guaranteed uptime, free SSL certificate. All of that leads to a more secure ecosystem, which means your assets are protected and safe. And there's less that you have to do. You're going to have to do more, with another platform or a custom site like on WordPress or something like that. Personalization, you're able to easily personalize your sites to your site visitors using personalization. That, geo-specific. Hey, if someone is in this particular geographic area and they hit my site, go ahead and show them this particular marketing message. Or if they show up on a mobile device, show them this click to call. Or if they come to my site after 2:00, tell them that they're going to get a free pastry with their coffee, or they're going to get a day old, whatever, you name it. Professionally designed templates, currently over 205 of them, and that is counting. Bonus apps and integration, so things like AdSling, the CallSling chat widget, lightweight CRM kind of coming down the pike. All these things that you're getting that are included with your Snap subscription that you wouldn't get otherwise. Results focused training. So what we're doing here, what we do every single week, not to mention all the in between, and we're going to be having more of this too up on the Snap support blog, as well as specific tailored training inside of JK, BAM, and the rest. Our white glove support. I think our support team is second to none, and I'd argue for you to be able to find kind of a more invested support squad than the Snap support squad. So those are the top 10 reasons, but bonuses, there's even more. I think, you look at things that are coming down the pike, and I can understand too how, because we've been beating this drum since day one. So we officially launched in November of this last year. So we had our first round of beta testers that came in and started building in Snaps, and we showed some really cool things. We had some training around dynamic pages and dynamic content that was ready to go. But there were a lot of things that we said, hey, just trust us, like it's coming, trust us, it's coming. And I think we've delivered on that multiple times now, where hopefully for those of you that have been around since the beginning, you can tell the others and say like, hey, like when Gabriel and the Snaps team says they're going to do something, they end up shipping on it. They end up delivering on it. And so we're going to continue pushing that needle. We're going to continue pushing that thread. Because I want to make sure that you always have like the best tools, training, support, everything that you need to grow your business, which is why we did this thing. We built this thing in the first place. So what's coming? Monetization opportunities. I built an ad network for an 8-figure agency, with a really great team. I plan on doing that again here inside of this tech company. What that means for you is you'll be able to opt in or out. No one's going to be required just because they have a site built on Snaps to show ads. But imagine being able to have the opportunity to make additional revenue off of all the sites that you have on Snaps, simply because now all of a sudden we've got some customers that we want to that want some space and traffic from your site, maybe on a thank you page after somebody opts in for a carpet cleaning lead. They're willing to offer a coupon to your customers for a second opt-in, and we can pay you for that. So monetization opportunities are coming down the pike at some point. We're going to be building an ad network around this thing. Referral and affiliate programs, I know I get asked about that a lot. We are going to be turning every single Snaps user into everyone's going to get a referral link, and then we will also have a VIP affiliate program as well too, where you'll be able to go out and refer new Snaps users. And depending upon where you're at in that referral affiliate system, will tell you kind of like what sort of rewards, commissions, things that you can earn with Snaps. Directory sites with membership capabilities. So I know that was a question earlier. Hey, can you build sites with login capabilities in Snaps? We're currently testing those membership functions right now. One of the very first things that we built, about, I think it was 9 or 10 directory templates right out of the gate, that we didn't end up going full bore with because there was a couple features that we needed, mainly the member site and kind of login capability. So that's coming, plus an app store. So we're going to be building a full-on app store where you're going to be able to go out and again, in this enclosed system. So different than like WordPress plugins, where you're going and getting all these kind of like external plugins that you have to maintain and update. We're going to be building all the apps. Our product team is currently working on them. They'll be building them all and making those available for you as kind of like widgets on steroids. So, right now we have widgets and we have premium widgets that are there inside of the editor, but there's going to be additional applications that we're working on that still, you'll have one login to Snaps. You'll be able to go into the App Store and say, yeah, I want to enable this widget, this type of form widget. I think, somebody was asking earlier, it was Mira, who was asking about, she's got a client who has a cleaning business, can adjust based on the amount of the rooms. Yeah, we had a quoting system. Perfect example of where you would want an application for that. So like a quoting type widget where, someone would come through your site, you'd be able to give them a quote based on that, which you need a kind of a user interface to be able to toggle what do you want to show up in that quoting engine. And so we'll be building those applications. So those are kind of like just a few of the things that are coming down the pike. Now, I've realized to be careful and selective on when we share specific timelines for things. And I will definitely share, in regards to like what's coming next, because I want to make sure that we're, under promising, over delivering in terms of the timing of these things coming out. But like I said, for those of you that have been around with us since the beginning, hopefully you can see that if we said we're going to do something, we're going to do it. And we're working on a lot of this right now for you guys. And obviously the faster that Snaps grows and we have your support, that helps us to be able to invest back into the product team, hiring more developers, designers, getting all this stuff built out so that you can then take this to your business owners and kind of make more money with this platform. Thanks, Mira. She says, yes, you deliver multiple times all over since the beta days. Yeah, no, thank you. Seriously, I think, I've said before, you got my back, I got yours. And I genuinely mean that. I think we can do a whole lot more together. I'm a big believer that a rising tide raises all boats. And, it's like, you guys have been here for us. We're here for you. That it's why we're building this whole thing. Because at the end of the day, like I said in the very beginning of this live, the internet doesn't need another platform, another tool, another app, another social media. There's plenty of that out there already. So why do this even in the first place? And honestly, the whole reason behind Snaps was like, hey, we realized there could be a better way. We realized we could save people time. Because coming back to, I think I had it up here even. I'll just go back to this original question of like, what is your time worth? I think this is a really important question because it can get very easy to get caught in the nitpicky, like, what is this? What does that cost? I get it. Snaps is not the cheapest on the face per site. If you were to go, publish 1 or 2 sites or 10 sites or whatever, it might be a little more expensive than, this other solution out here where you can get a bunch of them hosted for a year, in this bulk deal. But that's not comparing apples to apples. That's comparing hosting to this full publishing business lead generation platform, right? And if you want to bring this other thing over here up to speed with what Snaps already is, you're going to have to spend a lot of time, a lot of money, a lot of heartache to get there. It's not to say that it's necessary. Again, you can still get from point A to point B in the Honda Civic, and you can get from point A to point B in the Maserati or the Bentley. And both of them will get you there. And not every situation requires, that specific tool or that specific vehicle. But it's kind of up to you. So I would just ask you, what is your time worth? And so with that, I will leave you guys. Have a wonderful rest of your Tuesday. May the 4th be with you. And yeah, if you're catching this on the replay, you have any questions on any of the stuff that we covered in Snaps, go ahead and ping me. Just mention me in this thread, and we'll take it from there. But yeah, Jeff says best. The minimal extra cost of Snaps blows the time. Exactly. And your time's worth more than that. So I would argue, Jeff, that you're probably making more now with that extra time than you would have, by trying to cut a couple corners here and there. And that's what we see kind of time and time again. So thank y'all for another wonderful live, and we'll see you on the next one. Catch you later. Bye.